Listen to me carefully, every dreamer will face doubters. Every visionary will hear the voices that say, you can't do it. You're not enough. You're too late. You don't have what it takes. But what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is not talent, not opportunity, not luck. It's the decision to prove every voice of limitation wrong by living out the purpose that burns within your soul. You were never designed to live at the level of people's opinions. You were created to rise above them. The problem is that too many people spend their lives trying to convince others they're capable instead of becoming what they were meant to be. Stop explaining yourself to those who were never assigned to understand your vision. The best proof is not your words, it's your results. Every person who has ever carried a dream has also carried the weight of other people's opinions. From the moment you decide to rise, voices begin to whisper, some softly, some loudly, telling you what you can't do, what you shouldn't try, and what will never work. These opinions are like invisible chains, subtle yet strong, designed to keep you tied to mediocrity. But the truth is, you were not created to live inside the limits of other people's understanding. You were designed with a vision that no one else can see, and that vision often threatens the comfort of those who have chosen to settle. People judge based on what they know, but their knowledge is too small to contain the size of your calling. That's why you must learn to separate your identity from their perception. Their doubt doesn't define your destiny, it only tests it. When you begin to walk in purpose, you will notice how quickly opinions multiply. Some will question your motives, others will question your timing, and many will question your worth. It's not because they truly know who you are, it's because they can't imagine being who you're becoming. Their perspective is limited to their own experience, and anything beyond that feels impossible. So they criticize what they don't understand. You cannot let those voices settle in your spirit, because once they do, they start shaping how you see yourself. And the most dangerous thing in life is not when people doubt you, it's when you start agreeing with them. You must guard your mind like a treasure chest. When you hear negativity, don't internalize it, analyze it. Ask yourself, is this truth or fear speaking through them? Most of the time, it's fear. People project their own insecurities because they couldn't carry what you carry. They quit when it got hard, so they assume you will too. They walked away from their calling, so they expect you to abandon yours. That's why your silence, your consistency, and your faith will be your greatest answers. When you refuse to conform to their expectations, you force them to confront the smallness of their own beliefs. Your life will always mirror what you choose to listen to. If you listen to doubt, you'll start to shrink. If you listen to faith, you'll begin to grow. If you surround yourself with people who see possibility, your purpose will flourish even in difficulty. But if you keep giving weight to the opinions of those who lack vision, you'll end up trading your destiny for their approval. That is the greatest tragedy, to have potential but never live it out because someone else couldn't see it. The moment you stop letting opinions define you, everything changes. You start moving from reaction to intention, from fear to focus, from validation to vision. You stop asking for permission to be great and start walking boldly into the greatness that was already yours. There comes a moment when you realize that words are no longer enough. You've explained your dream, you've shared your vision, and still, people doubt. They question your motives, your ability, and even your sanity for believing in something they can't yet see. That's when you must understand the power of silence. There is a season where talking must stop, and proving must begin. You can't convince people who have already made up their minds, you can only let your progress correct their perception. Every second you spend trying to make them believe is a second you take away from building what will make them believe. Your results are the only language critics truly understand. The world is full of voices that will try to talk you out of your assignment. They will tell you it's too hard, too late, too risky. But while they are talking, keep working. Every late night, every disciplined hour, every decision to keep pushing becomes evidence that you are serious about what you say you want. Let your consistency be louder than their opinions. Let your excellence be louder than their doubt. Because when results start to manifest, even the loudest critic must become silent. The beauty of discipline is that it never argues, it simply delivers proof. You don't have to announce every move, you don't have to post every step, and you don't have to prove your worth with explanations. The most powerful statement you can make is steady progress. It's when people expect you to quit, but you show up again. It's when they assume you've failed, but you come back stronger. It's when they dismiss you quietly, but later find themselves inspired by your persistence. This is how success speaks. It doesn't shout, it simply shines. Every builder, every visionary, every achiever knows that silence is a strategy. There is power in not revealing everything you're doing. Let your preparation stay private until your manifestation becomes public. You don't need validation from those who can't see your potential. What you need is the discipline to keep planting seeds when no one is watching. The soil doesn't care who doubts you, it only responds to what you sow. Keep watering your vision. Keep tending your dream. In time, the fruit will expose what faith has been growing in secret. Remember that not everyone is meant to believe in you right away. Some people need to see results before they understand purpose. Don't take their disbelief personally, it's simply proof that your dream is greater than their perspective. The best way to shift their mindset is to keep producing, keep excelling, keep moving forward no matter how quiet the recognition may be. Because when your work starts to bear fruit, it will speak in places your words could never reach. And those who once doubted will have no choice but to see the evidence that you were right to believe when no one else did. Adversity is not the enemy of greatness, it is the birthplace of it. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful had to pass through seasons of pain, uncertainty, and struggle. These moments are not punishments, they are preparation. The fire you feel is not meant to destroy you but to refine you. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without pressure, there is no growth. Life will test you to see if what you say you want is really what you're willing to fight for. When you face hardship, it's not a sign that you're off track, it's often the confirmation that you're on the right one. The presence of adversity means that purpose is near. When everything seems to be working against you, that's when your true potential begins to reveal itself. The easy seasons don't shape character, the difficult ones do. It's in the moments when doors close, when support disappears, when everything feels heavy, that you start discovering who you really are. You learn what you're made of when comfort is taken away. Struggle pulls out strength you didn't know existed. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can rise, even when it hurts. You begin to understand that pain has a purpose, it's teaching you discipline, resilience, and focus. The greatest mistake people make is trying to escape difficulty instead of learning from it. They want success without sacrifice, growth without grind, purpose without pressure. But destiny doesn't work like that. You can't be trusted with power if you've never walked through process. You can't lead others if you've never faced loss. You can't inspire anyone with words that haven't been tested by experience. The struggle gives weight to your story. It makes your success authentic. It builds credibility that can't be faked. Every setback you face is a seed for strength. Every disappointment carries the potential for discovery. When something breaks, something inside you also builds. You learn endurance. You develop wisdom. You grow courage. You become the kind of person who doesn't run from the storm but walks through it knowing that the other side holds something greater. The process may feel painful, but it's producing something permanent in you, an inner power that circumstances can't shake. So when adversity shows up, don't see it as an interruption to your purpose but as part of it. The struggle is evidence that you are carrying something valuable. The heavier the pressure, the greater the promise connected to it. Every challenge is shaping the character required to sustain what you're asking for. And one day, when the season changes and you look back, you'll realize that it was the difficult days that gave you the depth, determination, and discipline to handle the destiny you were born for. There will always be opposition when you decide to rise. The moment you make up your mind to chase purpose, you disturb comfort. People who have settled will always question those who choose to soar. They will doubt your intentions, mock your persistence, and criticize what they can't comprehend. But you must understand that resistance is not a sign to stop, it's a signal to keep moving. Growth always attracts opposition because light always exposes what darkness wants to keep hidden. You cannot allow the noise of critics to drown out the sound of your conviction. When they talk, you stay focused. When they laugh, you stay consistent. When they expect you to quit, you keep walking forward with quiet confidence. Your greatest power in the face of opposition is endurance. Anyone can start, but only the determined can finish. Opposition is the test that reveals who truly believes in what they're building. Every insult, every doubt, every attempt to discourage you is an opportunity to develop the muscle of persistence. The reason some people stop is because they think resistance means rejection, but it doesn't. Resistance simply means you're making progress. The more pressure you face, the more you're being prepared for the weight of purpose. The very obstacles meant to stop you are secretly strengthening you. You must learn to use the energy of opposition as fuel. Let their disbelief push you. Let their criticism drive you. Let their laughter remind you why you started in the first place. There is a certain beauty in being underestimated because it gives you the freedom to build without distraction. While they're talking, you're growing. While they're watching, you're working. While they're waiting for your failure, you're setting the foundation for your success. Every small step you take in silence is another nail in the coffin of their doubt. The path to purpose is not meant to be easy because easy never builds endurance. The opposition you face is molding you into someone who can carry the responsibility of success. You can't expect victory without battle, and you can't develop strength without struggle. When people turn their backs, when opportunities close, when nothing seems to move in your favor, that is the moment to dig deeper. That is when faith becomes more than a word, it becomes your lifeline. Never forget that some of the greatest achievements in history were born out of rejection and resistance. Every innovator, every leader, every world changer had to walk through seasons of being doubted, dismissed, and overlooked. They succeeded because they refused to let opposition define their outcome. They understood that staying consistent when no one believes in you is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Keep your focus steady, your heart humble, and your steps moving forward even when the path feels lonely, because it's in those unseen moments of persistence that real transformation begins. Proving others wrong is not about feeding pride or seeking revenge, it's about living in alignment with the purpose that was placed inside you. When your motivation is rooted in ego, you'll burn out quickly because validation from others is never enough to sustain you. But when your drive comes from purpose, you find strength that doesn't depend on applause. You start to understand that your success is not just about you, it's about showing what's possible when faith meets focus. You don't have to chase recognition, you have to chase responsibility. The responsibility to fulfill what you were designed to do, to use your gifts, to multiply your potential, and to leave something greater behind. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, the noise of doubt loses power. Purpose gives direction to your energy. It keeps you steady when emotions fluctuate and when progress feels slow. Pride looks for competition, but purpose looks for completion. It doesn't need to be better than others, it simply needs to become what it was created to be. When you start operating from that place, your actions take on a different weight. You stop reacting to critics and start responding to calling. You stop proving people wrong to hurt their ego and start proving them wrong to honor the gift that's been entrusted to you. Every person with a divine assignment must go through the process of being misunderstood. People will question your motives because they can't see your vision. They'll assume you're chasing attention when you're actually chasing obedience. Don't let that discourage you. Purpose requires privacy. Sometimes the silence of not being seen is what builds the strength to stand when you finally are. You don't need them to understand, you need to stay faithful. Because in the end, what truly proves them wrong is not your success, it's your growth, your peace, your character, your consistency. There is a certain calm that comes when you stop living to prove others wrong and start living to prove that purpose never fails. You realize that every struggle you faced, every rejection you endured, every tear you shed was a necessary ingredient in the making of who you were meant to become. You begin to thank the doubt because it pushed you to dig deeper. You appreciate the silence because it taught you to hear your own conviction louder. You embrace the process because it revealed the version of you that pride could never produce. Purpose-driven people don't need revenge, their success speaks for them. They don't waste time comparing, they keep building. They understand that real fulfillment doesn't come from applause but from alignment. When you move with intention, when you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, when you use your talent with excellence, you automatically silence every voice that said you couldn't. Not because you wanted to prove them wrong, but because you chose to prove your purpose right. Your life itself is the evidence of what faith, perseverance, and vision can produce. You don't need to argue with those who doubt you or defend yourself against those who misunderstand you. The way you live, the way you rise after every setback, the way you keep going when everything around you tells you to stop, that becomes the undeniable proof that destiny is real. Every choice you make in silence, every act of discipline, every small victory is a piece of evidence that builds the case for your greatness. The people who doubted you are watching, and though they may never say it, they are witnessing transformation happen right before their eyes. When you walk in purpose, your life becomes a message without words. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget what you showed them through your actions. You show that consistency pays off. You show that faith works. You show that the one who refuses to quit can't be defeated. Your journey becomes living proof that dreams are not fantasies, they are possibilities waiting for persistence. Every moment you refuse to give up is a declaration that your spirit cannot be broken. Every day you choose to rise is a reminder that destiny always favors the resilient. You may not realize it, but your perseverance is inspiring someone who's watching from the sidelines, wondering if they can rise again too. You become a mirror for others who have been told they'll never make it. They see your growth, your strength, your persistence, and suddenly they start believing in what's possible for them. That's what it means to be living evidence. You're not just proving something to yourself, you're unlocking belief in others. Your testimony becomes a roadmap for those who have lost their way. You turn your pain into direction and your persistence into inspiration. Every trial you've faced, every delay you've endured, every door that closed on you, it's all shaping the story that others will one day read with awe. When you keep walking, even through confusion, you're writing a narrative of resilience that cannot be erased. You become the proof that purpose outlasts pain, that vision outlives doubt, that destiny is stronger than denial. The beauty of being living evidence is that you don't need to convince anyone, time will testify for you. Results have a way of silencing doubt more effectively than words ever could. You will reach a point where you no longer chase validation because your existence itself becomes validation. Every goal achieved, every challenge overcome, every lesson learned builds a legacy that speaks louder than any argument. You don't have to announce it or explain it. Just keep building, keep growing, keep becoming. Because one day, those who once said you couldn't will have to look at your life and realize that faith was right all along. Your journey becomes the undeniable evidence that purpose always prevails over doubt.